My name is Kayla Keith, and this is Missing Midwest, a true crime podcast telling the stories of those gone missing. Today's episode, I'm sure, is a familiar one. It's about a young girl gone missing in the night and never heard from again. Wrong place, wrong time. This is Missing Midwest, and someone knows something. Okay, so this one, are you ready? Episode 3, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought you were just.
You're not ready.
I'm ready now.
Okay, this is a good one, and you're gonna know this one. I know the other two I told you wouldn't know about, but you'll probably know this one. I don't know how much you'll know about this one. I should say everyone knows this one. It's like a household name.
Okay.
But I don't know if everybody knows like the details of it. Yeah. The T on it. Yeah. They definitely know that she went missing and she hasn't been found, but I don't know if they know the true details of it. So I figured this one, again, this one, it's like I said, it's well known. I figured I would do this one, cover this one, just because I myself didn't know everything about it. And I don't know, I just wanted to because it's familiar. We've been there before.
It's a missing person in the Midwest.
Yeah, missing Midwest. We've been there before, so I said, let's do it. So Lauren Spierer.
Okay.
You know her, right?
Yep.
Okay. Bloomington, Indiana. And we just went to Bloomington, Indiana not long ago, and that is why I'm doing it.
Okay.
So, Lauren Spierer, she went missing June 3rd, 2011, which is the year I graduated high school.
Yep.
Probably close
I was in
to
college.
June 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, we graduate right in June. Yeah, you went to college. So she was 20 years old. So Lauren was born to Robert and Charlene Spierer in Scarsdale, New York, which is where she grew up. She graduated in 2009 from Edgemont High School, and then she went to IU Bloomington, and she was studying textile merchandising. I don't know what that is. Textile merchandising. Who knows? Look it up.
Sounds artistic.
Artistic?
I mean, it sounds like textile and advertising. I don't know.
Merchandising, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so she was super active. She was Jewish, and she was super active in her community. She actually spent the previous spring break, was probably like Marchish, is when they have spring break. She spent that in Israel planting trees.
Wow.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
So, good girl. Everyone loved her. She was sweet. She was born January 17th, 1991. She was tiny, 4 feet, 11 inches, 90 to 95 pounds. I don't know the last time I weighed 95 pounds. It's probably like 12. Anyway, so she was last seen, there's like an iconic picture of her last picture that she was seen. She was wearing black leggings and like a white t-shirt. So that's kind of like the last picture so everyone kind of knows that's her last time, what she was wearing. And so June 3rd, the night of June 3rd, Lauren went out with some friends drinking. It's college. She was drinking. Her boyfriend, Jesse Wolf, he did not go out with her that night. He was going to, but he ended up texting her. And he was talking to her back and forth the whole night. He stayed home. They texted until he went to sleep that night. But so he was home. The night started with Lauren having some friends over to her apartment to watch a basketball game and drink some wine, pretty low key. She told her boyfriend she was going to go to sleep after that, but apparently plans changed, which is fine, that happens. But she ended up going out. So she did not go to sleep after the game. Instead, she went to a party. She had a friend named Jason Rosenbaum, and he had a townhouse 2 blocks away. And so she decided after this game, her boyfriend went to sleep, so she didn't feel the need to tell him this, but she went to a party with some friends. So she, this is all, the next information is all witnesses. They have a pretty good timeline of like what she did that night. So 12:30 a.m., witnesses see Lauren leave her apartment with a friend named David Ron, and the pair went to Jason Rosenbaum's apartment, which, like I said, 2 blocks away. Jason, he also went by Jay, so I might go back and forth between that name, Jason and Jay. So Lauren and Jay were friends, but they were friends from back home.
From New York.
Yeah, from New York. So she went, she knew him for a long time, and she worked at a summer camp with him and her boyfriend, Jesse. So all these people are from New York. And so they'd known each other for a while. So she met up with Corey Rossman, which was Rosenbaum's neighbor, his roommate. So like they had, so if this kind of gets confusing. So Corey Rossman was Jay Rosenbaum's neighbor, and his roommate was Mike Beth.
Okay.
Are you lost?
Nope.
Okay, so Jay Rosenbaum's apartment is who we're at. His roommate was Corey Rossman.
Neighbor.
And his neighbor was Oh, wow. You already... Okay.
No, I got it.
Yeah,
I'm in.
I'm already messed up.
locked.
Wow. Okay. You should have seen me researching this case. It was a hot mess because I got these all confused. Okay. 12:30 a.m. Witnesses report that Lauren left her apartment with her friend David Ron, and they went to Jason Rosenbaum's apartment. Now, Lauren and Jason were friends from back home in New York, along with Jesse Wolf, which was Lauren's boyfriend. So all of them worked at a summer camp together, the boyfriend and the friend. So David, Jesse, and Lauren, friends from home. David and Lauren are going to Jay Rosenbaum's apartment. When they got there, they met up with Corey Rossman, who was neighbors with Jason's neighbor.
Got it.
Okay, and then also there was Jason's roommate, which was Mike Beth. It's kind of confusing. But according to her parents, she met Corey like a week before this. So they were like, it's like a new friendship. Like they didn't really know each other. Everyone said she looked happy and well when she left her apartment. She was totally fine. Witnesses did state that there were drugs at this party that they went to at this apartment, at Jay Rosenbaum's apartment. There were drugs there. They said there was Klonopin, and which I don't even know what that is, and cocaine. They said Lauren was visibly intoxicated when she got there and while she was at the party. So then later, she left the party with Corey Rossman. So Corey Rossman is the guy that she's only known for about a week.
The neighbor.
Red flag. Like, don't go anywhere with people you don't know.
Correct. Right.
So 1:46 a.m., Lauren is seen entering Kilroy's sports bar with Corey. So this was like a popular spot in IU Bloomington. Like everybody went there. This was the party spot. It was the place to be for IU students. I believe they let people in there that were 18.
Really?
And then you had to get stamped or whatever if you were 21. So there was like all from 18 up there. Hot spot, place to be. So her and Corey go to this bar at 1:46 a.m. So at 2:27, so like right at 45 minutes later, Lauren is seen exiting the bar with Corey. She actually left her cell phone and her shoes at the bar. I was like, why is this girl's shoes off? I mean, I know she's probably drunk at this point, so I can't really, things happen. But I looked into it, and so there was like a patio with sand. And so she probably just took her shoes off there, I'm assuming, and she just left them there.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, and that makes sense, so that's fine. And then she left her cell phone, which, again, she's drunk at this point, so she left her cell phone, whatever. So Corey, he walked Lauren back to her apartment complex. At 2:30 a.m., she is seen entering the Smallwood Plaza Apartments, which is where she lived. And so they see her on camera going back in there. A passerby, a guy was walking by, his name was Zach Oakes. He noticed that she was like very, very drunk, and he stopped and asked if she was okay. He said that it was like visible. She was having trouble standing up and walking and stumbling and talking.
And this is at the apartment complex.
This is at her apartment complex, yeah.
Like on her way to her room?
Yes, so Corey's like walking her back to her apartment. So in the hallway...
Oh, he saw her with him.
Yes, yeah. So in the hallway, her and Corey ran into a group of guys that were friends of Jesse, the boyfriend. And so one of them punched Corey Rossman in the face.
Bros.
Yeah, and so like he later claimed, Corey actually claimed that this made him forget the rest of the night, which to me sounds
I don't like
convenient.
that at all.
I don't like it either. The police have never named the people in the group or who hit Corey, but it is stated that like they were friends of Jason. And so my thinking is like they're in the hallway hanging out and they see their buddy's girlfriend walk in with another guy. Like I can imagine what would happen, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, bros. So I don't think anything like sinister or anything was happening with that. I think it was like, what are you doing with that girl? That's my friend's girlfriend type thing.
You get her lose a tooth.
Yeah. So that was at 2:30. So at 2:48 a.m., 20 minutes later, surveillance footage shows them leaving the apartments.
She's with this Corey guy still.
Yes.
Leaving again at 2:30 in the morning.
Leaving the apartment. So it shows them leaving the apartment now, and they went into an alley that runs between College Avenue and Morton Street. So it's kind of like an alley between like the apartment complex. Like by the apartment complex. So security cameras were like mounted on other buildings and stuff. And so they showed her exit the alley at 2:51 a.m. and she was walking toward an empty lot. So there were two reports stated about this time frame, like the 2:48 a.m. time frame. So ABC reported in 2016 that Lauren fell 2 times. Not like
on surveillance camera.
On surveillance. They
By
say,
herself at this point, or is he still with her?
I believe he is still with her. Yes, at this point he is still with her because when she fell, ABC reported like this was not like a stumble, like not a trip. They said she like full on fell and like hit her face on the pavement type fell twice, not once but twice. They said she was so drunk she didn't even catch herself. Like she completely hit her face, and then they said Corey like threw her over his shoulder and carried her back to his place. But then in 2012, so like before that, in 2012, the Indianapolis Monthly said that in the video footage, she is on video with someone, and then she's seen walking away from her apartment. And so they don't say anything about her falling or getting thrown over somebody's shoulder. So like, I don't know how there are two separate reports.
Right.
Like,
those are massively different details.
And they're both reputable sources.
Yeah.
So I don't know who saw the footage. I don't know. The police have never released the footage. I don't know if reporters saw it. Or if these reports came from just talking to police, but like that's two different stories.
Whenever this circumstance comes up, I like to go with the newest one.
Which would be the 2016 one.
Right.
That
Other
she
information
fell, yeah.
could have came out. Reporters could do a better job. My guts say...
So this is a big point of confusion in the case.
Yeah.
Because like which story is real.
Right.
Like I said, nothing's been confirmed by the police and no one's actually seen the video footage. So either she was so drunk that she fell and this guy threw her over his shoulder and took her away and walked, or like she was just walking and she walked away and she was like kind of by herself. So the one thing that is true though, they found Lauren's keys and her purse in that alley, like on that route that they were walking, they found them in there.
Where she fell.
Where she was falling, yes. So Spierer and Corey Rossman, they got back to Rossman's apartment shortly after this video, whether the video shows them falling or not, they went back to his apartment. And Mike Beth was there, which was Corey's roommate. He was at the apartment, and Rossman was very intoxicated himself as well. So Corey and Lauren are both just like real drunk at this point. And Mike said that he threw up on the steps actually outside the apartment. Corey did, like when he was walking up to the apartment, he threw up everywhere. Some people say that this was from him getting hit, that he had this concussion. So I don't know how. I don't feel good about that. Yeah. I think he threw up because he was really drunk.
Yeah.
He's been drinking all night.
Apparently driving around with this girl who's also really
well, they weren't driving, they were walking.
Okay.
But
sorry.
Regardless. So Mike is like awesome. Like my roommate's here, he's throwing up everywhere and he's got this drunk girl. So Mike is like talking to Lauren. He's like, you need to just go to sleep. Like lay on this couch. Like you can't leave. You can't even walk. And he said, Mike said that Corey Rossman just like went to bed and passed out somewhere, and then he's got this left with this drunk girl who's trying to leave, and he's like, you cannot leave, like you can't walk, girl, you need to lay down. And so he tried to get her to stay, and he said he was trying to like tell her like, hey, let's just drink here. She wanted to drink more, and he said, let's just stay here and drink, like you don't need to be out. But she wanted to leave, and she wanted to go back to her friend Jason Rosenbaum's apartment, which is next door. And so finally he's like, whatever. So she goes next door back to Jason's house, which is where the whole night started to begin with. So Mike is like, cool, like I don't have, whatever.
It's not my responsibility anymore.
Yeah, but at 3:30, Mike did call his neighbor and said, hey, this girl's coming over, you need to take care of her. Like he wanted him to like know that she was on her way, which to me is like, okay.
That's fair.
That's fair. Good.
Yeah,
good
especially since he knows Jason knows her.
Yeah, good for you. Like that was nice. So she did go back to Jay's apartment, Jason Rosenbaum's apartment next door. She went back there, and Jason said that he saw a bruise under her eye, and that he assumed it was because she was stumbling around and falling and everything. And she told him she didn't know how she got the bruise. So there were 2 calls placed from Jay's phone shortly before it's reported that she left for the night. So Rosenbaum said that Lauren Spierer, Jason said that she placed both of those calls on his phone.
She didn't have her. She left it at the bar.
Yeah. So it says that she called Ron, the guy that she started with. What was his name? David Ron? Let me see. Yeah, David Ron.
Yeah.
So one of the phone calls was to David Ron, and then one was to another friend. Neither of them answered, and she didn't leave a message.
It's like 4 a.m. at this point.
Yeah, 3:30. So like she's calling friends, nobody answered. She still wants to party, and everybody's like, "You need to stop partying. Like we're staying here."
Yeah.
But Lauren left the apartment to go back to hers by herself.
Man.
So Jason Rosenbaum is the last known person to see her alive.
Jason Rosenbaum.
He said that she left. He tried to get her to stay. She left. She tried to call friends. They didn't answer. She left and walked back, supposedly, to her apartment. So that was at 3:30 a.m. So at 4:30 a.m. is when so all of this started at 3:30.
Sure.
This whole
calls.
At 4:30 is when he said she left. So all the calls and everything took place trying to get her to stay. So at 4:30 a.m., Jason says that's when Lauren left his apartment. That's the last time he saw her. He said he reported that he saw her at the intersection of 11th Street and College Avenue, and that she was headed south on College Avenue toward her apartment. She was barefoot, wearing black leggings and a white shirt. That's the last thing. That's at 4:30. So later that morning, like several hours later, Jesse Wolf is texting Lauren, like, hey, I'm awake. Where are you? All of the texts were unanswered. He then got a text back, and it was an employee from the bar, Kilroy's bar, and it said, hey, this phone was left at the bar last night, whatever, come get it. So he called her roommate to see if she had made it home, and her roommate was like, no,
she's not here.
She's not.
Jane, what a terrible feeling.
No, sorry. The roommate said she hasn't seen her, and so she met Jesse at the apartment to let him in, and so they both went in to see if she was there, and she was not there. And so Jesse Wolf reported Lauren missing at 4:30 that day. So 4:30 in the morning is the last time that somebody saw her, and then 4:30 p.m. is after they looked for her all day, which it seems to me kind of long. I mean,
when your shoes are one place, your phone's one place.
Well, no, I mean,
I get.
She didn't get reported missing until 4:30 that night. I mean, Jesse went to sleep at a decent time the night before. Let's assume he slept in until 10. He's texting her. He gets a reply from the bar. I don't know. I just thought it sounded like a while, but whatever. So a friend of Lauren's sister called Lauren's sister. A friend of Lauren's called Lauren's sister, and they asked the sister, to tell the parents that she was missing. And so right away, they're like, absolutely not. And they start calling the hospitals, the jails. They just start calling around. Nobody has her. She's not answering her phone. She doesn't have her phone.
Right.
And they're like, this is not right. And they immediately booked a flight from New York to Indiana, which same.
Yeah.
So the first few days of the disappearance, they said that the police really didn't do a whole lot because they didn't have much to go on.
Right.
They spent the first couple of days getting all of these witness statements because there was a lot of witnesses that saw her, and she was on surveillance tapes a lot. So they went around and they gathered all that and created this timeline. Every person, one thing that was the same, every single person they talked to said she was very, very intoxicated, having trouble talking, walking, all of that. And so that was something that they pretty much gathered from the beginning. The police did release that one image of Lauren walking out of her apartment that night. It didn't have a time on it apparently, but it was apparently early in the morning because she did look super intoxicated in that picture. She looked happy. She was smiling and stuff. And she has a jacket thrown over her arm. And so this is the picture that they used for the public search because it showed what she was last wearing, and you could kind of see her and everything.
Sure.
So the first couple weeks of her disappearance, and actually, if you Google the case, that's the picture that comes up. But it's just so, I don't know. I remember college. I remember walking out of your dorm or your apartment, and you just have your clothes on and your jacket thrown over your arm, and it's just going to have fun. It's just a really kind of an eerie picture to know that's the last one of her.
I remember in college going because I lived on one side of the campus and my best friends were on the other, and I remember being crap, I have class in 4 hours. I'm going to walk back at 4 a.m. to get my stuff. I
know, and I was reading this. I was literally holy cow, 3:30 in the morning. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw 3:30 in the morning except for when my baby was a newborn. But yeah, college. It wasn't out of the normal at all.
No.
When you
and
were
you think about this time,
hours.
This is June 3rd, you said?
Yeah.
So the semester's over.
Yeah.
If they're still in Bloomington, this is the time to be partying because
I know.
it's,
I felt
you don't have class the next day.
30 hit me hard when I was researching this one because I was man, I literally was man, these kids need to get to bed.
We went to Taylor University, so we didn't have parties like this, but we'd go to Steak and Shake at 3 a.m.
Yeah. It was early though.
That was our party.
Or late,
Steak
I guess.
And Shake.
Yeah, that shows how old I am. I called it early rather than late. Anyway, so Jesse, the boyfriend, he searched on Saturday and Sunday. But then his parents came and they took him back to New York. They came in and they're like, nope, we're going home. And this kind of rubbed people the wrong way, which it does me too.
Yeah, I don't like that.
If you're my boyfriend,
first of all,
you
I'm
better
not
be
leaving
out there
nowhere.
looking for me.
I'm still there probably.
And that's what I'm saying too. you're an adult. Don't let your parents tell you have to leave when your girlfriend is missing. Like,
Yeah.
step it up and be like, no, Mom.
I don't like
I'm
that.
staying here. I'm going to help. I'm going to do everything I can. The other thing was they'd been together since high school.
Yeah.
Be like you and me in college.
Yeah. I mean, I understand him being upset. Like, hearing about the timeline. I'd be mad
care
if you
you're
were
upset.
I mean,
get out there and
that's what
look.
I'm saying, though. Like, yeah. There's a lot of weird stuff here.
It rubs me wrong too. I think that is weird. You would think he would have stayed and helped, and I don't care what my parents say. I'm 18, 20 years old. What are they, 20?
Ready for an off-the-wall theory here, though, that I've been thinking about this whole time?
All right.
I'm thinking about one of my boys, Cody, over here recording our podcast. I see a dude with his girl late at night, and they're both trashed. I'm hitting the dude, and then I'm going and telling Cody whether he's asleep or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of speculation about that too, because like his friends were like not happy to see her with another guy. So there's a lot of speculation, and like
I'm not just gonna rock a dude's face and then be like, all right, I'm going to bed.
I literally have a T-shirt that says the husband did it. Like that is just
offended, but okay.
That is just a known thing. Whether if you're the significant other, eyes are on you, and so there were a lot of eyes on Jesse in the beginning, and then he left town.
In no way am I accusing Jesse, but I'm saying somebody went and got Jesse.
You think he knew before he woke up the next day?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Whether he did anything or not, he might have been like, "This doesn't look good for me. I'm out of here." I'm not saying he did something. I'm saying he thought.
I'm sure the people in the hallway that hit him were also drunk, but they weren't drunk enough to not know that this was a problem.
I was gonna say.
So I mean, yeah.
If I rock a dude, I'm also willing to go wake a dude up.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so investigation. So in August of 2011, the police held a 9-day search of the Sycamore Ridge landfill in Pimento, which is just south of Terre Haute, for clues. I have no idea what took them there. They never said why they were searching that. I'm sure there was a reason, but this is the landfill where the trash from Bloomington is taken. So the Bloomington Police Department, the Indiana University Police Department, and the FBI all were working on this search
FBI's looking there. There's reasons.
That's what I'm saying. But they've never
That's
revealed
not just
why
good
they
police
went
work.
there.
That's like FBI is going
Well,
here.
I'm saying like the average person would be like, check the trash, check the landfill. Like they had to have a reason to go there. So they didn't find anything. Obviously, nothing happened. So I'm assuming they didn't find anything. In April of 2015, the Bloomington police announced that they were investigating a possible link between Lauren's disappearance and the murder of another IU student. So this is actually interesting too. So Hannah Wilson, she went missing on April 24th, 2015, after visiting Kilroy's, which is the same bar that Lauren was at. And so the night she disappeared, that's where she was at. And she was seen getting into a taxi in front of the bar and driving away.
Alone?
Yes. The next morning, her body was found in Brown County, which you and I have went to Brown County a lot. We liked it. It's one of our favorite places to go. Nashville, we go down there and go to the shops. They found her body there, which is not far because when we go to Nashville, we've been to Bloomington.
Yeah.
And actually, fun fact, Hannah Wilson, her dad was a doctor here in Kokomo. He was actually, I've been to him before when I was little. Yeah. And so it was his daughter. She was murdered while she was a student at IU. Isn't that crazy?
Terrible.
So they ended up, like I said, the next day they found her body in Brown County, and they ended up arresting a local man named Daniel Messel for her murder because, again, crazy, stupid people. They found he dropped his cell phone. They found it right beside her body. And he dropped it there. So they were like, oh, whose cell phone is this? Oh, and then they went to him and were like, you killed this girl? And he was like, yeah.
So is he in jail during the Lauren Spierer thing?
Lauren Spierer happened in 2011.
Oh, yeah, duh. Sorry.
So that's obviously, they're like, oh man, like, is this guy like...
Is this linked? Is he preying on
people? So in July of 2015, they decided that these cases were not related at all, despite the similarities. They said it was a complete coincidence. So they said there was nothing that linked the two together, but I do think it was kind of sketchy that there was this. I mean, he was obviously preying on intoxicated women outside of that bar.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, so there are a lot of theories out there that different people, like that was a big one. So the landfill thing, they did not find anything in the landfill in April 2015. That's when the Daniel Messel thing happened. Okay, so on January 28th, 2016, so 2011 is when it happened, when she disappeared. 2015, they investigate and rule out the Daniel Messel guy that killed Hannah Wilson. In 2016, the FBI and the other agencies that were involved, they went and they investigated a property in the 2900 block of Old Morgantown Road in Martinsville, Indiana, which is approximately 20 miles north of Bloomington. According to a statement released by the FBI, they were just following up on leads and tips from Morgan County regarding the case of Lauren Spierer. The property was connected to a man named Justin Wagers, who lived there with his mom and his stepdad. Wagers, he was suspected of exposing himself to numerous local women, which I just cannot, like, I don't understand why people do that.
Me neither.
It's the weirdest thing in the world.
Agreed.
Like, sir, go home. But they searched the property with cadaver dogs, which did apparently indicate potential evidence. And they brought in an anthropologist. They did like a dig where they like sifted through all the dirt and stuff from a barn, which is where the cadaver dog hit as a possible like human remains, I guess, but they didn't find anything. It said that they did, it was reported that they towed a white truck away that belonged to him. But after that, nothing else was heard. So that was another one.
I mean, you just, to get the warrant to do that, there just has to be something so substantial for it to come up with nothing.
Yeah.
Wild.
You know what's stressful? Buying and selling a house. Just over a year ago, we were in the middle of the process and it was overwhelming. I am so thankful that we had someone like Amber to guide us through the process. She knew what to do and when to do it. You were so concerned about pricing and loans, and I was just concerned with the colors and the layout. Oh, you remember that?
Yes. Amber kept everything in mind, and we are in our dream house because of her. If you are looking to buy or sell in or around the Howard County area, you have to give Amber a call, or you can just give her a text, 765-865-1118.
You can follow her on Facebook at Amber White, Realtor/Broker with Carrie Gruhl and Associates. She posts the latest listings, giveaways, and even helpful home tips.
We are so grateful for Amber and all her help.
Okay, so now let's talk about some theories, okay?
All right, let's hit me.
Okay, so Lauren's parents, they say she's dead. They believe that their daughter is dead. They said based on her level of intoxication, and they also feel that she may have been drugged at the bar when they saw her. Like, I guess they've seen like how she was walking in some of the videos or something. They said that they just feel like somebody could have slipped her something in a drink at Kilroy's to make her like, because everyone talked about how bad she was, how intoxicated she was. And so that's what Robert Spierer, her dad, says they feel like somebody with all the reports they have and everybody they've talked to, that's what they believe that's possible.
That's kind of been on my mind too, and here's why. You forgetting your phone somewhere, even when you're drunk, is like understandable. Yeah. But going like 4, 5, 6 hours without recognizing you don't have your phone, and that's just not something that happens
also,
in our
like,
generation.
You would think you'd be like sobering up along.
That's
like
what
she
I'm
walked
saying.
from the bar, and then they had this confrontation in the hallway with these guys, which would sober you up too.
Sure.
And then, but I guess if they went into her apartment, I think they were in there for like 20 minutes. She drank a little bit. I don't know. It just seems.
Well, and then like the fact that at 3 in the morning
she
she still wanted to drink more. There had to have been a sobering up period from falling on your face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you are consciously choosing to drink more, I just feel like.
Yeah.
So the drugs being involved could last longer than that. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's what her parents say, that they think that she might have been slipped something in her drink. But the family has, from the beginning, voiced suspicions about the men that were involved that night. I
agree.
So Jesse Wolf was the boyfriend. Jason Rosenbaum was the friend from camp. Corey Rossman was the neighbor and the week-old friend.
Glad he got punched.
And Mike Beth, was Rosenbaum's neighbor and Corey's roommate.
Alleged good guy in the situation, I feel like.
Yeah. So they have completely refused to take a polygraph test.
Good
and
for
they
them.
retained lawyers as soon as she disappeared. Now,
questionable.
You ask, no, the number one thing, if police are talking to you, number one rule, you do not take a polygraph test. And you do not talk without a lawyer.
Man.
Guilty or not, like, you do not take a polygraph test.
If I'm innocent as all get out and I know bad things happened, I can talk without a lawyer.
Do not do that.
Man, I don't know. Polygraph thing, never taking a polygraph test.
They can use anything against you. You do not, Johnny, you are not allowed to speak to anyone without a lawyer. That's a rule right now.
My wife saying
Write
it
down,
here.
this date and time.
So if you go missing and I lawyer up, we're going to listen to episode 3 of Missing Midwest podcast where my wife said, absolutely under no circumstances.
I want you to have a lawyer.
Man. Interesting. Okay.
Unless I did it, but yeah. You need a lawyer.
Gosh, now I have to. Even if you did it, now I have to. I'm locked into a lawyer in these situations.
Anyway, so they refused to take one, and they retained lawyers, which coming from the victim's parents would look suspicious. But
I'd
coming
be upset.
from,
I'd be furious.
But coming from a
I'd be
crime,
like, talk to me, not your lawyer.
Yeah, like a true crime junkie knows not to do that. So.
Okay.
Or to do that, to not take it and to get a lawyer. So the parents have not like made any specific accusations against like a single guy, but they say that they know more than what they've said.
I guess what I'm saying is if I know the truth about a situation, I'm not wasting time getting a lawyer. I'm not trying to waste time.
Unless you're at fault.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm innocent and can prove it, I don't need a lawyer. But
so the men responded to this by saying that they took privately administered polygraph tests from the FBI because they don't trust the Bloomington police.
Super dumb.
Small town again, probably. They say that they retained the lawyers, and the results of those polygraphs, they are not being made public. But Rosenbaum and Wolf, so Jesse and the friend from hometown, they said they both passed their tests and that they took them from the FBI because they didn't trust Bloomington police. And so both of them have had face-to-face meetings with Lauren's parents, okay? Which I think says a lot.
I do too.
Like, hey,
that means something.
We're not taking a polygraph from the police because we don't like them, but I'm willing to meet with you and tell you that I passed the other polygraph, whatever. Corey, however, he was the one that was with her the most that night, and he has refused to speak to the parents.
He's a problem.
I think Corey's a problem.
Big problem.
I think Corey is a
Glad he got robbed.
I hope he hit him hard. I do, because you're with her the most. You're allowing her to, I mean, I know she's an adult, but if she's drunk, like, make her stop drinking.
There is no situation where I take somebody from their home if they're in that state, even if she wants to go.
Yeah, like, you could have stopped. Let's not act like this 4'11", 95-pound girl forced you to go out and go
She is home
more.
And in that state, she needs to stay there.
Exactly. So I think Corey definitely should have put a stop to this. But he's the one, he was with her the most. He only knew her a week. He's refusing to talk to the parents.
And he was hammered too. I know. But man, I don't like that situation at all.
So according to ABC, he has been the opposite of cooperative with everybody. A lawyer made a statement a few days after her disappearance for him saying that he doesn't remember anything from that night. Because he got robbed. Because he got punched in the face.
Wow.
So years later, Corey was actually told people that he never said that. That was just what his lawyer said. And these men have never been named as suspects, but they are considered a person of interest. So all of those guys, persons of interest. So that's the family's theory, that these guys are involved, and the family thinks that what happened was actually one of the most popular theories. The family believes that, and a lot of the public, that it was an accidental overdose. They think that with how drunk she was and her friends and her boyfriend told the police that she did use drugs every now and then. So like in addition to the night of her in addition to the alcohol the night of her disappearance and possible use of drugs, they think that she probably overdosed and these guys in their drunk state panicked and did something. Which to that I say, if you did it,
tell us now.
Just say it. Like,
yeah.
They would have been first of all, it's been a decade. You shouldn't have waited this long, but like, they would have been able to see that she overdosed, and that you could have been like, this was a complete accident. Like, I can understand the panic when you're drunk and young and stupid.
Well, the one guy just let her walk home. That's a problem.
Yeah. So you're okay with telling people that you let this girl walk home? Like, we're all judging you for that. Like, just tell us what happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is something too, which this is annoying to me. Jesse Wolf's mom, which I love your mom. Your mom's my mother-in-law. I've always loved your mom, but for some reason this is rubbing me the wrong way. The boyfriend's mom, which I'm a boy mom now, and so the thought of my boys having a girlfriend, I'm like, no, like, girl can leave. So Wolf's mother, she said this about this poor girl that's missing. Like, this girl is missing right now. And the mom spoke out and said, this poor little girl is not with us today because of her drug abuse. And then she went on to say that on September 2nd, 2010, which was 9 months before Lauren disappeared, that Lauren was arrested on charges of public intoxication and illegal consumption when she was asked to leave summer camp which is where she met her son. She met her son at summer camp, and she had a drug problem and all this. So, like, why are you coming out and saying that right now? Like, this girl's missing.
Most likely dead, too. You're talking
most likely dead, and like, you're talking about her like that. Like,
come on now.
Yeah. Like, maybe tell the police that in private, but don't be yeah. And, I mean, no matter how much I don't like a girl that's talking to my boys, I would never say that about her. Like, come on.
Tammy Keith would never.
Tammy Keith would never. I don't know. It depends how mad I am. The thought of a little girl, the thought of Truman bringing home a girl, and I mean, I'm his mom. Like, he gives me hugs now. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Anyway, I still wouldn't say that. I think that was bad. Anyway, so after her disappearance, police did find a small amount of cocaine in her room. And Jay Rosenbaum, the friend, told investigators that she did consume alcohol, snorted cocaine, and crushed up Klonopin tablets that night. So Jay said she did all of that the night she disappeared. Yeah, so I don't know what to take. I mean, that's just his word that you would have to take with that. I don't know. They did the police did address rumors that she may have overdosed and that those with her may have hidden her body to avoid a criminal charge. But the Spierer family hired a private investigator, and he said he doubts that a fatal drug overdose would even be enough motive to cover it, because he said that the drug use on IU campus was so prevalent. Like, everybody is buying pot, cocaine, drinking pills. He said it was all over the place, and he said he did not think that could have been a motive to hide somebody's body.
I agree with that, and I think too the lack of finger pointing between the guys involved.
Yeah, they
tells
never
me like if I found her and was like, holy crap, like she's dead because of overdose. She was with Corey.
Yeah.
Or Cody or whatever his name was.
Corey.
Yeah. And like I'm like, this is what happened. Like, there's no reason to hide that information.
My thing is, like, I think if she took the drugs, she was already on them when she's stumbling through the parking lot with Corey.
Had to be. So
yeah, she's already stumbling through she's already taken the drugs, and he's not hiding her body then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he gets her home. From Corey's perspective, he walked in the front door with her. He threw up on the porch. He went to bed with her in the house. So unless he got up out of his drunken state, I mean, he's innocent in that regard.
Corey's, the only thing he did is he took somebody that was extremely intoxicated out to get more intoxicated.
Yeah.
That was stupid.
Yeah, and glad he got rocked. But I'm not sure. I'm like,
another guy's girlfriend.
Until I didn't know 90% of the information you just gave me. Mm-hmm. And so when you were like, then they left again, I'm like, he freaking did it. like that. But then once I found out there's witnesses putting him back at his house with the girl when he went to bed, I'm like, he's just a crappy person. Here's where my questions are. My questions are for the dude that hit Corey. Mm-hmm. Good on you. What'd you do next?
Yeah.
Did you go get Jesse? Because if I was you, I'd have hit that dude and I'd have went and got Jesse.
Yeah.
And so then
that's a good question.
And then my question is, Jesse, you knew she was gone before you got to her house. I'm 90% sure about that. So can you tell us what happened? I mean, I don't think you killed your girl, man. I don't. But what happened from when you found out, when your bro told you? No chance he woke up to no texts.
Yeah, even if he didn't come wake him up and tell him, dude, I just hit a guy because he was with your girl.
I have a hard time. I have a hard time buying a dude punched a dude in the face and was just like, yeah, I'll tell Jesse next time I see him. Guys don't work that way.
True. Yeah, that's a good question. Can you answer that for us, Jesse, please?
Or bro that hit the dude. I'm with you. High five.
I'm not judging.
What'd you do
guy.
next? If you call in and tell us, I didn't do anything next, man. I was hammered too. I just hit him and went to bed and iced my hand. I'm okay.
I'd like to know that. Yeah.
But I'd like to know. And why aren't the police asking? I mean, maybe they did. I'm sure they did. They probably did.
I'm sure they did.
But it's been 10 years. You can tell the truth now.
We're just here.
We just want to get some closure on these cases.
So obviously too. So that's the most prevalent theory. But then you can't rule out stranger abduction.
No, especially if she's stumbling around, some crime of opportunity.
That's such a crime, yeah. So the police have not ruled that out, but the parents, or Lauren's parents, have stated that they do not believe that it was a random abduction. But I mean, she was so tiny. Picking up somebody that is as drunk as her and as small as her.
I mean, a super easy. Drunk dude was able to just throw him over her shoulder and walk around while drunk, Yeah. Clearly, that's on video.
Yeah.
So, another question I have is to the public here. If you have been in IU around that time period or now, and you see a creepy dude strolling around at 4 o'clock in the morning, I mean, that's a pretty short time window, right? Not a huge population is walking around at 4 a.m.
I don't know. No.
If 5 years later you were like, yeah, I was partying and I saw this creepy dude driving around at 4 a.m. He had a brown truck with blah, blah, blah. Like, if that memory hits you right now, tell somebody.
Okay, well, actually, now that you say that, let me finish reading this. So the police did release one other image that they took that night, and it was of a white truck that, because they checked so many surveillance cameras, this white truck kept popping up on like the surveillance cameras. And so they released a picture of that. And then a lady called the police and said that her ex was released from jail like right before Lauren went missing. And he told her that he knew what happened to Lauren and that if she was any trouble to him, what happened to Lauren would also happen to her.
Wow.
Police looked at this and it looked really good because the dude lived like 10 minutes away and he had a white truck.
Yikes.
However, they later ruled him out because they said that the white truck wasn't involved either. It was just somebody that was driving around that night.
I don't like it.
Me neither.
I don't like it at all.
So 2 months after her disappearance, the police told Lauren's family that they were going to search that landfill. And Lauren's dad said that was one of the worst things he had ever had to watch was people searching for his baby girl in the garbage.
Well, and you know, what scares me about landfills is you could know for 100% certain that somebody's in there and it's still hard to find them. Mm-hmm. I mean, a landfill, like cadaver dogs can only do so much when everything is decomposing in there, you know. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah. They said they searched that landfill for 9 12-hour days and turned up absolutely nothing.
Man, brutal.
So in 2012, Lauren's parents admitted to the public that they did not think that they were going to find Lauren alive. Her dad was quoted as saying, quote, "It's very frustrating to be talking about the exact same things we talked about in the first 30 days of her disappearance." Mm. He said the police were not sharing anything about the investigation, and they hired their own private investigator from New York to look into things, and he came to the same conclusion that Lauren's parents had. The people with Lauren on the night of her disappearance, they know more than what they're saying. But without Lauren and without a body, there's just absolutely no evidence to prove anything.
Brutal.
So I talked about the Daniel Messel. I talked about Daniel Messel being involved. And they looked into that in the 2016. He was convicted of killing another IU student. They quickly ruled that out, and he's never been charged with Lauren Spiere's case. He was obviously, he's in jail for Hannah's case, but not that one. But another theory of somebody else's name that has been brought up, which I know you're going to know this one, and I think this is the biggest rabbit hole ever, Israel Keys. Ooh. If you don't know who Israel Keys is, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do an episode on Israel Keys. He's
creepiest,
one of the scariest,
creepiest for sure.
Probably one of the scariest things you can ever imagine in a human being. Like, I guess Cliff Note version, he was probably one of the biggest serial killers.
May have the highest death count.
May have the highest count. He would travel the United States. He would take trains, buses, planes, get off, rent a car, drive to this state, drive back and forth all over the U.S.
Hard to
travel. Very hard to trace. And he would take buckets, like 5-gallon buckets, and fill them with what he called a kill kit. And it would have gloves, masks, rope, guns, knives, whatever, and he would bury them. And they have found them. They're buried all over the U.S. And he would go to a town.
Only he knew where they were.
And only he knew where that. He would go to a town and bury this, and then maybe like 3, 4, 5 years later, come back, dig it up, and then just find a random house. I mean, one of the people he killed, they confirmed that he killed them. He picked them because they left their garage door open and the light was on, and he killed the husband and wife that were inside. Like, he just walked around killing people, absolutely
and then
crazy.
Gets back on a train,
and then
no
goes
one's
back
the
home.
wiser.
He had a family. He had a wife and a daughter.
Life.
Lived a normal life. Crazy. So what's crazy about this theory? Like, holy cow! I mean, this is total speculation. Okay. Sure. But he's considered like one of the ultimate serial killers, like killed so many people. Police believed he killed 11 people between 1996 and 2011. But they said like it could be hundreds more.
He said it was
hundreds. The police believed that it could be. I mean, like I said, these kill kits, that's what makes them so scary. It's all
makes
over,
me
and
want
it
to
had
throw up the fact there's so many of them still out there.
Yeah, or people just like finding, if you're ever digging on your property and just find a freaking kill kit, like he's dead now, thank goodness, but crazy. So yeah, he would just like fly around, like I said, killing people, and it was random. It was all crimes of opportunity for him. He was caught in 2011 after Lauren had disappeared. I'm not going to give you any details of how he was caught because that's an entire another case. But he struck a deal that he would talk if his daughter never found out about his crimes. Like, he didn't want her to know. Like, he had a young daughter. I'm like, so seriously, you're embarrassed by what you've been doing? Like, don't do it then. Listen up. If you're a small business owner like myself, you understand the value of time. There is always something to be done, and it's up to you to do it. Your business is your baby, and you rarely can trust others with it. But what if I told you that I had somebody that you can trust, someone that can save you time and help your business grow? I do. With Bo Digital, you have access to an entire team that will be there for you with marketing and advertising. It doesn't matter what the size of your budget or your business is. Bo can help you take the stress of marketing off your plate and free up your time to do more of the things you love to do with your business. Bo is a marketing company and a business partner, but my favorite thing about them is that they have become true friends. You can find out more about them and what they offer at bodigital.com. Take it from me and put a bow on it. They were able to track down, people have looked into this, like web sleuths and everything, and then it got so big that the FBI actually looked into it too. But Keyes was in Indiana 3 years before Lauren disappeared. On December 5th, 2007, they have records of Israel Keyes. He flew from his home in Alaska to Seattle. And there, he picked up his daughter and a handgun from a friend, and then he went with his girlfriend and daughter to visit his mom. His mom lived in Harlan, Indiana, and he was in Indiana until December 15th. So December 5th to December 15th.
Where's Harlan, Indiana?
2007. It is up by Fort Wayne.
That's a long way from Bloomington.
So on December...
Probably like 5 hours from Bloomington.
You done?
Yeah.
On December 8th through the 10th, Keyes rented a car in Fort Wayne and left for several days. He liked to bury these kill kits everywhere, right?
Yeah.
He did a lot of them on his family vacations and family trips.
It's gross.
His girlfriend, who eventually was his wife, like reported that like almost on every family trip they took to visit family or vacations, like he would disappear for a couple days and like come to find out he was out there killing people.
Yikes.
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, he had a gun. But when he returned the car, they were able to like they found this record of this car that he had rented, and he drove 537 miles in 2 days. A round trip from Fort Wayne to Bloomington is 400 miles.
Big yikes.
Put in the driving around Bloomington, Brown County area, a 50-mile trip.
Which Brown County, unfortunately, is like a perfect place.
Yeah. Super, super like
secluded
and yeah. So like there's like 150 miles here, unaccounted for to like drive around. They were saying too in here like city driving and stuff. So it is, I mean, there's a chance that he could have gotten down to Bloomington for that.
To leave a kit.
Also,
we're talking about leaving a kit here, right? We're not talking about, he wasn't there on June 3rd. We can't place him there on June 3rd?
Yeah, so this would be to bury a kit.
Okay.
So he went, and he really liked college towns.
Right.
So Bloomington is known for being kind of a party campus, college town. So he would have went and, I mean,
hid a kit.
I think he probably hid a kit, but also he might have killed somebody then too. I don't know.
Sure.
He was down there for a while, but I think he probably went. I mean, the theory is, and I believe too, he would have wanted to scope out that town. He would have wanted to drive around.
That was his MO with everything.
That was what he did. He might have went down there, buried the kit. He might have been off killing somebody. That's what his wife said. He would always disappear for a couple days, and that's when he would kill people or bury these kits or whatever. But he loved to just, drive around when he went on these trips. And
is there anything that you can tell me about where he was around June 3rd, like the timeline that he was able to give?
Yeah, so we know that he did that. We know that he was in Harlan, Indiana, and he rented a car 3 years before Lauren disappeared, and he definitely could have made it to Bloomington in that time. But on the evening of June 2nd, 2011, the day before Lauren disappeared, it has been confirmed that Israel Keyes flew into Chicago.
That's about 5 hours away from Bloomington.
Yes. So like I said, he flew into Chicago on June 2nd, 2011, and he was supposed to be going to his mom's house to visit her.
In Indiana.
It's about a 3-hour drive from Chicago to his mom's house. He didn't arrive to his mom's house until the late afternoon of June 3rd. So Lauren disappeared that night, and then he shows up the next day, and he's late to his mom's house.
So she went missing on the night of June 3rd?
So that would have given Keys, that would have given him a window of 12 to 14 hours to like commit this crime, to get to Bloomington, commit the crime, and get back to his mom's house.
Was it the night of June 3rd that she went missing, or the night of June 2nd?
So they say she went missing on June 3rd. So June 2nd was like the night that she stayed home to drink wine.
Yeah.
And then she's gone all morning. And
big
June
yikes.
3rd. Yeah.
Big yikes.
Yeah. So really he did. So really he had, like I said, he had 12 to 14. He would have had 12 to 14 hours to like get there and do it.
It's within the timeline, and it's within his capabilities.
He did not get a hotel, and he's completely unaccounted for that entire night and morning until the next day when he was back on an Indiana toll road going back up to his mom's house. They got him on the toll road going back.
Wow.
And so they don't know where he was from the time he landed in Chicago until the next afternoon.
I would like to know if there was any other deaths that day, any other murders or missing people.
So it says, following the murder of Lauren Spierer, Keys headed northwest back to Chicago in the morning. He would have headed back. We know for a fact that he went through 3 toll gates on the Indiana toll road, and he got back to his mom's house in Harlan, Indiana on the late afternoon of June 3rd. Yeah, so I mean,
man,
it said he would always. That's the other thing he did. What I read, that he would always like go out of his way to make sure he was accounted for in other areas. And apparently, the toll road he went through was not like on his way to his mom's house. So they said like he went through 3 tolls, and they said that's something he would do often, was kind of like go out of his way to put himself in areas that were far away from the murders. He liked to work in tight timelines like that to make it seem like he never could have done it.
Say would exclude somebody, the tight timeline.
Yeah, that's and he liked to work in that. And so they're saying, like, I mean, it's far-fetched, but he was in Indiana, and he did have time to commit that crime on the night that she disappeared, which is crazy.
I remember however long ago it was when you told me that he was a possible suspect in this case. Mm-hmm. And then as we have gone through all the details that you told me, this whole time I've been like, okay, well, I'm not going to believe it was 𝒊𝒔𝒄 Keys when all of these other red flags are occurring. Mm-hmm. But now that you like point out that timeline and the fact that there's no finger pointing on these other guys' end, man.
Yeah.
It's hard not to say that's my front running theory.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a good one. I mean, it's crazy. So he actually, when he would kill people, he kind of did it in like clusters. So he would kill somebody, and then it would get him like, excited, and he would do it again like soon after, and he kind of killed in clusters. So Lauren went missing like the June 2nd, June 3rd time that night. June 8th, he traveled like 1,800 miles to Vermont just to kill Bill and Lorraine Currier, and that was on June 8th, 2011. And he had buried that kill kit like years before. He said that's the couple I was talking about. Yeah. I think it was either their garage door was open or a light was on in the house, and he had buried that kill kit out in the country, and he went, dug it up, and just drove until he saw a house, and he went in and killed both of them, like brutally murdered them. And so they're saying like they think that was part of his little spree right there with Lauren, and then going over to Vermont from Indiana and kind of all of that together.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, to me, it seems more than likely that a group of drunk college kids covered up a murder or an OD, or maybe like an accident. I don't know that they murdered her to be murdering her. Maybe like an accidental death. Like she fell and hit her head or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
We have witness stating that she did take drugs, and she definitely was intoxicated. So I don't know.
So sad. I mean,
I don't know. It's sad all around. Yeah. So I was going to read this to you real quick. So June 3rd, not long ago, Lauren Spiere's mom posted this on Facebook. This is the official Lauren Spierer update from her family. So I'm going to read it for you because I think this kind of says something too.
I appreciate that.
So it says, a trip to the grocery store, an expiration date on a milk carton. The universe is not so subtle reminder that another June 3rd approaches. I don't need a reminder. I wear June 3rd like a shroud. I leave the milk. It is what it is. Lauren is a memory that lives in my heart. What could have been, I'll never know. So much untapped potential. Too many broken hearts left in the wake of destruction. What happened to Lauren could have happened to anyone. I think most college students believe they're invincible. I think Lauren trusted that she was safe. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong people. She wasn't careful and she wasn't safe. Someone with means, motive, and opportunity waited for her, held out the hand she took, and just like that, she was gone. There have been lies and inconsistencies from the beginning. I guess that's always how it is in any case. Self-preservation above all, but someone knows what happened. Someone is responsible. I have been schooled in the art of not sharing information. Fruit of the poisonous tree. What parent would ever risk saying something that would compromise an investigation into their daughter's disappearance? Even now, even here, I consider my every word. I take care. If you knew Lauren before she disappeared, or if you came to know her afterwards, give her a thought today. Consider that in the time it takes you to remember something about Lauren, someone could have called 911 and this tragedy never would have happened. 12 years you have kept your secret. 12 years we have continued our search. I write today as a reminder that we will never stop. 12 years of June 3rd. Charlene Spierer. That was heavy.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's that. But those words to me, the lies and inconsistencies, and she said something about self-preservation. That to me, I think I think it's the boys. Man. I don't know, like you said, I think it could be the boyfriend and the jealousy, or it could be the drinking or the accidental OD. And then she said schooled in the art of not sharing information. And what parent would ever? So if she have information, I'm sure
the cops are like, you can't say this.
What parent would ever risk something that would compromise an investigation? She can't go out and accuse somebody publicly, because then if they ever do go to trial, that would hurt it. So she's over here being quiet. So yeah, give me it. What's yours?
Here you go. Jesse Wolf gets woken up by his buddy. He's like, hey man, this is what I saw. This is what I did about it. Just telling you. Jesse says, let's go find her. He goes with the guy that hit him. Mm-hmm. They go out there. They find her. She's dead. And they don't know what to do. Maybe they argue, or whatever. She's super intoxicated. It's a problem.
So you don't think they killed her?
I don't think they intentionally killed her.
Okay.
But she's dead. Maybe and they don't know what to do. So they go get Corey. This is your responsibility. You gave her cocaine. You gave her these drugs. You were with her. You let her walk home by herself. They go to Jay. They're like, bro, this happened at your house. Like, you're responsible for this. They all are like, you know what? We're not going to say a freaking word.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. But if they all agree not to say a word, here we are. No finger pointing. Nobody's talking. Everybody lawyers up.
See, to me, there's a lot of pressure on this case. There's a lot of publicity. Like, I feel like one of them would have turned on each other by now.
It's been 12 years. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. But I'm just saying, like, who's responsible in that situation?
I don't know.
I don't know. Because you got a lot of people that are mildly guilty of something.
As much as I love a good conspiracy theory, a good 𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈 theory, I don't think it was him.
It shocks me. The potential of it shocks me much more than I thought it would.
Yeah, I don't think it's him. I think something happened. I don't think anyone was trying to kill anyone that night.
I'd like to know if there was any other missing people reported on June 2nd or 3rd.
I think it was a complete accident, and I think that they're covering it up. Somehow they've been able to not blame each other in 12 years, but... yeah. But as with any case, you can't rule out the possibility that it was a stranger abduction. You can't rule out the 𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈s. You can't rule out anything. But someone knows something.
This podcast is a So.Will.I.Studos production. So will I.